Hello and welcome, bookworms. Welcome to this week's episode of The Contented Narrative. We are looking at Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries, or Encyclopedia, depending on who you speak to, by Heather Fawcett. Now, this book was recommended to me by my good friend Daisy, and she got it for me for Christmas, and this was another book I just could not put down. So basically, this Emily Wilde, okay, she goes out into this wilderness because she is building an encyclopedia of fairies, hence the title. And there's a colleague that she works with that she can't stand but thinks he may or may not be a fairy. Spoiler alert, he is a fairy. But it is pretty obvious. Like, I'm not really spoiling it. And she's going out because she wants to learn more about the high fae, because there's different ways. You've got like the little ones, you've got the medium-sized ones, you've got the big ones, and she's wanting to build up this encyclopedia of how you interact with them, how you can survive encounters with them, and what's going on. And when she lands in this little village, there's loads of things that are going on, like they've got a higher rate of kidnappings from the high fae than any other village. And she's like, well, I don't know why that is. They've got a changeling in there as well, which doesn't make any sense, because they're like, right, well, where did he come from? Why is he here? Then there's a whole like scene of like this king that has been imprisoned in this tree, and honestly it was really really enjoyable. I don't know what I was expecting when I started it, and I love the fact that it just sort of like what really endeared me to this book is I love the ideas of all these folk tales, all these fairy tales that we read, we tell children, that we pass down for generations, like pixies and imps and brownies and all of that, and we pass these down. I love the idea that some of them are based in a reality-ish kind of way. Obviously, I'd love for there to be real fairies, but, I used to believe when I was younger that the butterflies were fairies. I used to believe as well that, when you caught those, like, dandelion, on the wind, and you caught it in your hand and you release it, you'd make a wish. I'm pretty sure I wished for magic most of my childhood. But do you know what I mean? I love this idea that it's like it taps into the childhood, and it taps into the stories, and it goes, right, well, these stories have this, so obviously some part of it must be true. And the way it's done is it's not in a ridiculous way. It's just in a day-to-day life kind of going, yeah, no, 100% I can believe this is true. And like, I loved her character. Emily is absolutely fantastic. And Wendell Bamblebee, so like, come on. When he realizes that she's in trouble, and like the way that he grows fond of her, and you can see their relationship growing. And normally when I'm reading a book and there's relationships in it, I'm kind of like, oh, it can feel a bit forced, but this one, it just felt really natural, and I absolutely loved it. And I couldn't put it down, and like, honestly, I didn't realize that there's other ones in this series. So there's Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherland, so I think I'm definitely going to be getting that, adding that to my list, my ever-growing to-read list. But I would definitely recommend you giving it a go, because it was just such a sweet story, and it had like its little twists and turns, and it had a really nice ending to it. And like you had Emily and Wendell, and it didn't, and even with Emily trying to be like, I can do this myself, when she realizes she needs help. And I mean, the fact that her character is very sort of like, oh, I don't really make friends and everything like that, and she manages to insult the entire village on her first night there and doesn't understand what she did wrong. That's such a me move, because like, I can talk to anybody, but sometimes I can say something and then somebody else is like, hang on a minute. And then it takes me a moment to be like, no, what have I done? Because it's just me being me. So I was kind of like feeling her a little bit in that instance. Don't worry, she fixed the relationship. But it was a really, really lovely book, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I definitely say give it a read. Obviously, download it on your Kindles, go to your local libraries as well, because obviously they need your support. Borrow it from a friend, buy it from Amazon, Waterstones, wherever you want to get it. But I definitely would say give this book a read. It was very enjoyable. Thank you so much for your continued support. I know I say this every week, but thank you so much. I'm up to 320 odd subscribers, so I couldn't have imagined getting these many subscribers. I'm just doing this for a bit of fun, so every time I put a video out there, I hope that it reaches people that read it, that watch it, read the books, and then recommend them to other people. That's all I really want from these. But thank you so much, and remember to always keep it contento.